excuse my voice. I'm kind of nasally, I know. But to start out with, let's look at some of the charts, and we'll also delve into some of the issues that are surrounding some of these commodities and what we expect possibly could happen. So let me share my charts with you. The first chart we're going to look at is the US dollar index. I know this may be redundant for those of you that follow me on crypto viewing, but we are looking at our pullback that we expected on the dollar index. As most of you know, especially my clients, we've been bullish on this for 2 years. We hit our initial target of 108 to 112, and now I'm expecting that hopefully over the next few days, it should bottom out. It could get a little bit lower. And if it does bottom out here and start back up and we challenge the top at 109, I think we could see fireworks over the next month or two, which could take us up to the top of the range around the 112.13. But if we get through, there's no saying how high this goes. Of course, this has a direct impact on the price of commodities. As the US dollar gets stronger, the commodity prices translate into lower prices in the US markets, which means pretty much everything, especially gold and silver. Okay. The next one we're going to look at, of course, is the stock market. And we're not too worried about the stock market right now. We think the back may have been broken, but that could all change with any kind of black swan event that we could see from overseas regarding Russia pushing through to the east. And we could see some great waves of money coming this way if things really get upended in Europe. So right now we're at the 4,000 level on the S&P, and that's major resistance. But we could see a move higher up to around the 43, 44 level. And if I see that over the next week or two, I would be tempted to take a position on the short side. Not trading advice, but I do believe at that point we could have some serious trouble and head back down again. So it could be a good trade. But again, it's something that I'm looking at doing, not recommending that you necessarily do it. Of course, gold is in the picture, and the gold right now, as you can see, is giving me a signal that we could probably be bottoming out short term. We've completed our pattern on the gold, and I think if you are looking at accumulating gold, physical gold, as we talked about before, you can give our friend Andy Scheckman a call, and he would be happy to help you. Silver and gold at this point, price point, I think, is an attractive investment, but again, physical gold, not paper gold. If you're a trader, you can trade paper gold. It's probably not a bad spot here. We did get an outside day reversal on our chart, which means we could get upside movement, but that may also coincide with more of a pullback on that US dollar, and that could maybe get the dollar back as low as possibly par, which would be about a 4 or 5 point reversal. That indeed could get our gold back up into the mid 1800 level. Silver, not a whole lot of difference here. We're looking at silver, and it looks like it's getting tired on the downside. It wants to move higher, but of course, as long as it's converted into US dollars, it's not going to move higher, because all you're looking at, guys, is just a conversion of US dollars. It's got nothing to do with the physical price of gold or silver. Getting into some of our other commodities now, we're going to be looking at the crude oil. Now, as I said way back when, I thought the crude oil would be a great buy if we can get it down into the zone, into the mid 80s. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but I still think there's a chance that we may get into the 80s, whether it's 85 to 90 range or even a little bit lower. At that point, I would be tempted to do something with the crude oil. However, option premiums are very stiff right now. And of course, margin on the contracts is quite heavy. I believe it's probably close to 20% or more now. But I do like the crude oil, and I may even venture some mini contracts slowly getting in there if we get down there, or do some spreads. Most of you guys that know how to do spreads, we could be looking at some bull spreads on the crude oil if we do get down into that mid 85 range. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Moving on, our commodity index, which you've been tracking, anyone that's a client of mine have been, we're getting a great pullback here. We're looking to hope get down close to this major trend line. I'm looking for it to get down around the 270, 265 level, somewhere in there. And I think what's happening here is most of the commodities are coming off. Of course, the grains are coming off, but also the copper and most other things, including the precious metals. So this is a point I think that we should be looking at getting along the index if you are a trader of the index. And at that point, we should see a lot of the markets reverse. I do think we're going back up in a lot of the commodities. Coffee being one. Here's a nice chart on the coffee. The coffee has had a good pullback here. Now let me go to the weekly chart and have a look at it here, see what it looks like. I think there's more downside potential here. Some of our indicators suggesting maybe we could get back into the 160 level. This would also happen if we get the completed pullback that we're looking for in the commodity index. And of course, the next one we're going to look at quickly, again, this is just a brief update, not feeling great tonight, but we'll do a better one next week, are the grains. Let's look at them one at a time. The corn, of course, has had a great pullback here, where we're looking for corn possibly to get between the 5.25 on the lead month, which is now September. We may see that, we may not. Either way, at that point, I think we're going to see some fireworks this fall on the grains because nothing is matching up. We have some serious issue with the grain crops. We have issues with the lack of fertilizer, the dry weather, the shipping, the storage. So I can't see how this could not be a great buy. But again, if I'm buying it, I'm looking at doing strategies, different spread strategies, maybe butterflies, depending on what your outlook is, how high we're going to go, maybe straight out options, cheap options for a long shot. So either way, some of these are opportunistic. Now, anybody that doesn't really understand the commodity contracts or options are key to trading these. Don't forget, we are starting our new class. Our new session should be in about, I'm thinking 3 to 4 weeks. It'll be around the end of August. And at that point, we'll be doing our class again. It'll be a live session, meaning that I'm taking about 20 people only. That's all. We'll do a session of about 4 hours per course. So there's futures 101, options 101, and technical analysis 101. So we've got a great special because we've just launched our website. We're going to have a special. It'll all be on the site here. Sometime maybe later this week, in the next couple of days, the details will be up. But the main thing is, if you're interested, sign up right away because the spots are going to go quickly because I haven't done a course in a couple of months. And there's, I think, probably enough for about 2 classes already asking for interest in these classes. When we do the video, if you cannot make the session, it's not a big deal because what happens is we do record the sessions. They cannot be copied or transferred or anything like that because they're through a firewall on Vimeo, but you have access for at least 2 full weeks to the recordings once they're done. That way you can go back and review them over and over again. But if you are serious about commodity trading or interested in it, I believe this fall could be fantastic opportunities. That's my personal belief because I think we're going to see fireworks in a lot of the commodities. Anybody that's awake knows what's going on and what they're doing. The governments of the world, especially the Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and their plans, and Mr. Gates, what they're planning on doing to us. So you may want to look at this opportunity because this pullback here in the grains is very unexpected in the sense that the prices will be a lot higher, in my opinion, going into the next couple of years. So again, if you're interested in learning how to trade this, it's not too late. We've got another series of courses. Again, it'll be sometime near the end of August, beginning of September that these courses will run. So just go on to where it says courses on the site on bullshift2020.com and go ahead and click on and reserve your seat. Anyway, this is the corn. Let's go back to the day chart. As you can see here, we got a bit of an opening higher tonight. We got a little gap here. This is getting a little bit on the oversold condition, and these simple indicators are suggesting that it's bottoming out as well. We may not see our 5 to 525 target. I believe there's a chance we still will, but maybe not. Either way, I'm on board. We're looking at getting some of our clients on board. And again, you don't have to bet the house on this. You can just get in with a couple of cheap options if that's what you want to do, just to take part. There's also ETFs that we recommend. If you're looking to trade an ETF, we have a few of those. So let's move over next to the soybean chart. And it's a little bit different. It doesn't look quite the same. It looks a bit like it's bottomed more so even than the corn had. We do have this big gap up here between harvests, but I think there's a chance we could get one more leg down. We may not, but either way, we've turned positive on the indicators, even though we're at the bottom. So that's a very strong bullish sign here. And then finally, one of my favorites is the wheat. Anybody that knows me knew I worked for the wheat board, or at least the Ontario Farmers Association, Grain Farmers of Ontario. Sorry, guys, just not with it tonight. We have 28,000 farmer members there that are involved with the organization. I'm no longer with them. I helped them with their hedging. That's what I did for 5 years. But this trend line here is very solid. And I think from here, the wheat could go higher. And even when I did my seminars a couple of years ago, when I was with the grain farmers, my projected target within 5 years from back then was that we're going to see $20 wheat. And I still think we're very much on target. That's a huge move. And anybody that's not really familiar with commodities has to understand the leverage that you're dealing with here is phenomenal. When you say, okay, $8 wheat, it's actually got a notional value of $40,000 because there's 5,000 bushels of wheat in each and every contract, and an option on that one contract will control 5,000 ounces or 40,000 bushels of wheat. Okay. So anyway, that's just my quick update for tonight. I'm not going to get into much more. We'll leave the equities and the miners stocks for next time. I just got to get back and lay down. I'm just not feeling great, but I wanted to get this out because I promised last week for the new subscribers that we were going to do some kind of an update on these markets. And that's pretty much it. So anyway, guys, have a great, and girls, have a great week. And I will be doing some more videos, recommended videos. One should be going out tonight. And if there's a link below this when it's posted, I'll actually put the video that I'm speaking about, and it's talking again about what's going on over in Holland, where the Canadian farmers are helping out with supporting them. And now we just find out ourselves that our own prime minister is buying into the same deal, and he's cutting out a lot of the ability to be able to use fertilizers and pesticides on the crops, which of course is going to dramatically reduce any yield we have in Canada on our crops going forward. So you know what, we're in unbelievable times. And again, as I said before on the show with Dick, in every adversity, there's the seed of a greater or better equivalent. And that, I believe, I can't remember the guy's name again. Sorry, guys. I already said it once tonight. I do apologize. I can't believe I haven't coughed once. It's great to see everybody on board, and we will have lots of good stuff for you. I've got a special coming up later this week. Mr. Mark Mitchell. Mark is a real estate mortgage broker in Ontario, and he's going to shed some light on the situation on the Canadian housing market, as well as what's happening in China and how that could be contagion and impact a lot of other countries beside China. Anyway, guys, have a great night. Good talking to you, and we'll talk later.